Hi, I'm Calvin of AJ Ministries, and I ain't tripping. So, over my shoulder, you'll see our fearless leader and his wall. He's been talking about for ever since he came into office. What I want to do tonight is I just want to give you some facts with a little commentary. You make your judgment. Do we need a wall or don't we? Next, on I ain't tripping. The conversation we're about to have is going to be about these people. One, the government, and two, the wall. That's it. The government and the wall. That's what we're going to talk about. All right. Now, there's a lot of claims why we should have the wall, why we shouldn't have the wall, what the wall could do for us, what the wall won't do for us, and that's fine. That's all good. But the true question that I wanted to talk about was illegal immigrants. Illegal immigrants on this soil, how it affects us, different questions like that. So I went looking for this report from Kate Smith of CBS News, and it was shared by Michael Medved, Medved. They did a surprising report, fact-finding report. And so what I did is I went behind them, I read it, then I went behind them, and I started doing facts, trying to say prove or disprove the facts that they put out. And so the name of the article was Surprising Facts About American Immigrants. Kate named her part of it, The Facts on Immigration, What You Need to Know in 2019. So, I'm going to read what they wrote, and I'm going to do commentary along with what they wrote. I'll start off like this. After shutting down the government for more than a month, President Trump remains without his campaign's hallmark promise. Now, what did he promise us when he first came out the gate? He's going to build the wall, and Mexico is going to pay for it. Now, soon after he said that, he recanted the Mexico part. He immediately recanted the fact that Mexico, Mexico wasn't going to do it. So he recanted that part immediately. But it's not the fact that he recanted; it's the fact that he said it. And so he lied for to get people to follow him to do something. So whatever. Anyway, now the southern border wall in D.C. Politicians have until February 15th before the temporary funding runs out and the government shut down for a second time this year. Now, for me, if I was a government employee, I would be shaking in my boots. I would be shaking in my boots to know that the day after Valentine's Day may be my last day. The Valentine's Day may be my last day of work. Valentine's Day may be my last day of work for however long. I would be stocking up stuff. I would be understand something. I'm that guy that I would be like, wait a minute, wait a minute. We just came out of this because you figure after what happened with the government shutdown, so many people are trying to catch up their bills right now, getting checks and doing what they need to do just to catch up what they did right, what they got backed up on for the government shutdown. Now they got what, a week, less than a week, 4 days, 5 days, 4 days. 4 days before the government may or may not shut down again, and you'll be back in the same situation within, not knowing what's coming next. So, one of the first questions I asked was, how do most unauthorized immigrants enter the United States? Now, that question was one of his main topics. We got so many people coming over here from the border that it's just crazy. I mean, I don't know what kind of numbers he was throwing out, but he pressed on that fact that we got so many coming over that way that this wall was had to be put there because that's the only way it was going to be able to be stopped, right? The fact is, 2/3 of the recent unauthorized immigrant population entered the United States on valid visas, then stayed in the country after the visa expired. What source can you get that from? The Center for Migration Studies. Now, 2/3 of them came over here legally and stayed. Only about 1/3 of the recently unauthorized immigration population got to the United States by sneaking across the southern border. According to Randy Capps, the director of research for the U.S. programs and the Migration Policy Institute. That means a wall would not have prevented 2/3 of the country's recently undocumented immigrants from illegally entering the United States. What does that mean? That means that if you got the wall or not, 2/3 of the people that we have, that we consider illegal aliens or illegal immigrants in America would have still come. 2/3 of them. Like I said before, the majority of our illegal immigrants in this country came in on visas and stayed. Now, how can we stop that? Well, somebody, now they have all these people, and for lack of a better word, bean counters. They can tell you that these many are here that's illegally. Well, if they're here legally, they came over on a visa, we should be able to track them down, check their visas, and either get them out of here or make them reapply for another visa. Now, why do I say that? Well, it can't be that easy. That's a lie. Because you know what? When the IRS get ready to chase you, they don't have any problem finding out where you are. None. They will find you. IRS can find a needle in a haystack. Why can't we get the same thing done for the illegal immigrants? They come over here on visas and stay. 2, what about all the spy stuff we have? Cables and everything else. We got stuff. If they got a phone, you can track them down. Understand something. When we turn on our GPS on our phone, it not only shows us where we're going, it shows somebody where we're at. I'm just saying. This is just me. Now, I asked the question, how many unauthorized immigrants live in the United States? A fact of the matter is this. Between 10.7 and 11.3 million unauthorized immigrants were living in the United States as of 2016. Now, that's the most recent data that's available. It's from 2016. That information came from the Migration Policy Institute and from PEW Research Center. According to PEW, the number of unauthorized immigrants living in the United States hit a 12-year low in 2016, a decline that researchers attributed to stepped-up enforcement at the country's southern border and shifting economic trends. The Migration Policy Institute estimates there were 11.3 million undocumented immigrants living in the United States at that time. What does that mean? It means simply this, that they stepped up border patrol. They stepped up electronic surveillance on the border. And since then, it's been it's the lowest it's been in 12 years. Just by doing those two things. Stepping up the border patrol and electronic surveillance systems. Monitoring the border. Hey, so if we still got a problem with people coming over the border, couldn't we add more cameras, add more men, give them more resources? Wouldn't that wouldn't that add the same thing? And it would give more jobs. To get more jobs, consistent jobs, you get more border control for less money. It sounds like a no-brainer to me, but I'm Calvin. And I ain't tripping. Okay. Next question was how many people um are caught attempting to illegally cross the southern border every year? Now this was a big number. Don't get me wrong. It was 396,579 people were caught illegally crossing the border last year, 2018. And my question is this. Now that source came from a U.S. Customs and Border Patrol. Now 396,579 got caught. We got a 12-year. We have a 12-year low of people coming over as illegal aliens. How many people actually got through? How many people actually got through? If they caught 396,579 people, how many people actually got caught? Now, illegal border crossings began to fall significantly in the mid-2000s after hitting record highs through the 1980s and 1990s. In 2005, the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol agents apprehended just over 1.17 million migrants. Since then, arrests for illegal border crossings have fallen nearly every year. Wow. That's since 2005. Almost every year, the arrests for illegal crossings have fallen. Now, I don't know about you. If you go online, you see a lot of the border crossings and what's happening. These guys are doing a wonderful job. Shout out to the Border Patrol. You guys are doing a wonderful job. Again, if they had more help, if they had more surveillance, if they had better equipment, they could do even a better job. They could put even. It's like, to me, it's like this. You know that you have a concentrated area of drugs and war and gang activity. Why not take that area and flood more police into that area? Why? Well, all they're going to do is move to someplace else. Yeah. But as they move and separate, certain things that happen. You'll have less drugs. You'll have less gang violence. You'll have less murder. That place per capita will go down as for crime, the crime rate itself, because they had to disperse and move. Same thing here with Border Patrol. If you take and give them more resources, if you take and give them put more money into the surveillance systems, into reinforcing the borders that are already there, that's just my thinking. It may not be true. Hey, I'm not an analyst. I'm just Calvin. And I ain't tripping. Okay. Another question I asked was about asylum, because people come over here in asylum, and they said they're seeking asylum because of whatever reasons. Now we know that asylum is usually given to people that have something they can offer us. It says they're supposed to be here. It says that they're supposed to be here because of they have fear of their life or their religious beliefs and all these other things. But the question actually was, how many people are caught attempting? The question was, is asylum a form of illegal immigration? Well, no, it's not, because they have to go through, once they come over here in asylum, they have to go through a rigorous protocol in order to stay. So no. Now think about something. How many immigrants claimed asylum last year? Well, it was approximately 100,000 immigrants began asylum proceedings last year, a record high. And this record is coming from the White House. Last year, the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services processed about 100,000 credible fear claims. Now, this is a question that came up. How many immigrants show up for their court dates? Because when you come over as an illegal alien or looking for asylum, you have to go to court for it. Now, asylum seekers showed up to their court dates 89% 89% of the time in the fiscal year ending in 2017. And that's the most recent information we have about this available. Where do we get the information from? From the Department of Justice, Executive Office for Immigration Review. Now, the Trump administration has based a handful of its new immigration policies, like the recent implemented Remain in Mexico policy, based on the assertion that immigrants don't show up to their court hearings, an idea the White House views as a loophole. Secretary of Homeland Security Christian Nelson said during a congressional testimony late last year that asylum seekers more than not fail to appear for their hearings. And in January, President Trump said only 2% of asylum seekers make their court dates. We just looked at the facts. The facts state that 89% of people seeking asylum or immigration to this country, 89% of them show up for their court proceedings. So where did they get their information from? But I'm Cal. It ain't tripping. Anyway, let's finish this up. Another point that the government was making was about the illegal drugs. So my question was, okay, they were saying that so many illegal drugs come through Mexico through the pipeline or over carried by illegal aliens or illegal immigrants, and they are aliens because they're foreign to this country, so they are aliens. So don't. I'm not trying to be funny, but they are considered aliens. Now, the question was, how many of them actually come over here, or how much drug is brought over here by them? Well, the way the government was saying, and I'm not going to say Trump, I'm going to say the government was saying that so much of it comes over here by the Mexico border, where they carried over under the ground, whatever they get over illegally. After looking at that, the facts are this: a vast majority of illegal drugs like heroin, cocaine, and fentanyl enter the country through legal entry points, known officially as ports of entry. And where do we get that information from? The United States Department of Justice and Drug Administration. It also added to say only a small percentage of heroin seized in the United States customs and border patrol agents was found along the border between ports of entry, according to the 2018 National Drug Threat Assessments. Now, as for cocaine, the DEA said it was uncommon to see very large shipments of cocaine headed towards the United States-Mexico border, and that instead the drug is transported on boats and amongst legitimate cargo of commercial trucks or within secret compartments built within passenger vehicles. The DEA added that traffickers are also increasingly targeting seaports along the East Coast. Now, this being the fact, and I'm just saying the facts. If this be the facts, are we going to build a wall along our seaports too? Because if that's where the drugs come on, and we want to fight against the drug enforcement, because it's been a war on drugs for how long? And we keep getting these other drugs coming out. We're fighting cocaine on one hand, fighting marijuana. Well, they stopped fighting marijuana. They're fighting fentanyl, we're fighting cocaine, we're fighting all these other stuff. But we can't get a handle on it. But we know where it's coming from. See, I'm a simple guy. I don't know a whole lot. But when it's time for me in the wintertime to winterize my house, I know to go around the windows winterize. I know to find cracks. They have a device that I can go through my house and it showed me where the majority of the wind is coming through it. We have a technological country right now that can pretty much pinpoint wherever you are at any time of the day or night. By way of internet, cable, phone access, your car. If your car has a GPS in it, they can pinpoint your car. We have a targeting system. They can target from this country across to other countries and hit a nail on the head. But we can't stop the drugs from coming. So instead of stopping the drugs where the most of them coming in, we want to lay a lot of the blame on Mexico. I don't know if Mexico did it, but hey, I'm Calvin, and I ain't tripping. Anyway, U.S. Customs stated that the Border Protection seized one of the biggest fentanyl busts ever last month. They seized 254 pounds of synthetic opioid. This is according to the Associated Press. 254 pounds of fentanyl. We know that fentanyl is a synthetic opioid. We know that we have an opioid epidemic now, not counting the crack epidemic, not counting the cocaine epidemic, because they're here. These drugs are here. It's not a thing of the past. It's not just in the suburbs. It's all over. Come on, people. Let's think. Let's just come together and think a little bit, okay? This is the last point I want to make. And the reason why this is the last point I want to make is because this is the last thing that really interested me with the whole study. Do illegal immigrants commit more violent crimes than legal residents? Now, see, when I heard this, when I heard this, I, before I even found the information, I said, "Come on, man, come on." That's you gotta know that that's enough. You gotta understand that if you're doing something wrong in the first place, you're not gonna add to that. You're not compounding to that wrongdoing. So if you know, it's just, you know, you're not. If I'm in this country illegally, I'm gonna try to stay up under the radar to stay here as long as I can. Because I know the second they find out I'm here illegal, I'm out of here. And I gotta go through the whole process all over again. Anyway, statistics, facts state, studies say that undocumented immigrants are less likely to commit violent crimes than American-born citizens. Where did we get that information from? The University of Wisconsin, the Cato Institute. According to a June 2018 research report from the Cato Institute, illegal immigrants are 47% less likely to be incarcerated by natives. And legal immigrants are 70% less likely to be incarcerated by the natives. Why? Because we're not doing it. They're not doing anything. They're not coming over here trying to kill people and all that old good stuff. They're not doing that. You know why they're not doing that? Because they're here illegally anyway. They don't want to rock the boat. They don't want to make mistakes. They don't want to do all that stuff. They don't want it to happen. Why? Common sense. The last thing I want to say is this. You can sit there and close your eyes. You can sit there and turn your back. You can sit there and act like it doesn't concern you because it's not happening directly to you. But believe me, directly or indirectly, today, next year, or 20 years from now, the decisions made on policies like this have a lasting effect on all Americans. And you better be sure that you stepped up to the plate. We're Americans first. Land was built on freedom. The land was built to be better. The Constitution says that we have the right. We have the freedoms. We're the land of milk and honey. Well, what happens when that milk and that honey is snatched out of your hand? And you don't even know why. But hey, I'm Cal. Ain't tripping. So, I'd like for you to leave me a comment, subscribe, share this post with somebody who may need it, and I'll see you next time. Because you know what? I'm Cal. And ain't tripping.